situation. So let's go ahead and dive into how do you prep your home to make sure that like you have the best list photos out there, right? Of course, part of it is making sure that your realtor brings in the right real estate photography company, the right Matterport people to make sure that they know how to capture the right angles and make your home shine to the best of its ability. But let's go ahead and take a look at how can you go ahead and prep your home and make sure that it's going to be in show ready condition. So a big thing, and I know that I've said this before, but you're going to want to go ahead and clean and declutter, clear off all of your countertops. People do not want to see your cookbooks. They do not want to see all of the accessories that you have. They want to see the space that they can use should they choose your home, right? So go ahead, clear up those countertops, get rid of small appliances, mail, cords, clutter, anything. We want your house to say like, hi, I'm fabulous. You want to live here, not like, hey, I'm full of clutter and junk. Open up all blinds and curtains. This is going to make a huge, huge difference in the way that your home is seen. And even playing off of that, if you have screens on the outsides of your window, go ahead and take it off because those screens are actually going to make the home look darker. Even if you do have all of these beautiful windows, go ahead and pull the screens off. It's going to give it more curb appeal and it's ultimately going to allow more light in for your listing photos. Go ahead. I know this sounds like so HGTV, but go ahead and flip those pillows. You really want to again, think like a stager, think HGTV. When they do those reveals on Flip or Flop or on Fixer Upper, you have those big fluffy pillows and there's a reason they do that. It's because it's aesthetically pleasing. It's welcoming. It allows buyers to really get like the warm and fuzzy feelings in your home. Make sure you turn on every lamp and light that you have available. Even if you have all the windows in the world, those extra lights are just going to help really make your listing photos pop. Now, this goes back to kind of the decluttering thing. You want to make sure that you clear off your dressers, your nightstands, your tables. You can leave like a small book or a small picture frame. Now, you don't really necessarily want to, you don't want something with eyes in it. My stager always says if it has eyes, it's got to go. So, pictures of your family, pictures of, creepy dolls, whatever it may be. Anything with eyes has got to go. But you can have like a small picture frame, a small lamp, maybe a book, something like that. But ultimately, for the most part, you want them clear, no clutter in sight. Bring symmetry to your bedroom if you don't have it already, right? So that means even if, make sure that if one nightstand has a lamp on it, make sure that the other one has a lamp on it. If you've got greenery on one, bring in greenery on the other side. Here's a really big thing. You may love like a bright red duvet. You're going to want to bring in a neutral one for the photos because otherwise, a buyer's eye is going to go to the red or to the bright color versus, if you put on a white, a light gray, anything that's in that neutral family, if you go more that route, then people have the ability to really look at this space as a whole versus zeroing in on that color. So here's another thing. And like I said, about the photos, the eyes, you're going to want to replace any family photos with artwork. So try Hobby Lobby, try Michael's. You can find really inexpensive artwork. But again, anything with eyes has to go because if they see your family photo, then it's the buyers subconsciously start to think, well, it's their house. It makes it harder for them to visualize themselves in your space. And ultimately, we want them to see themselves in your space because if they do that, they're more likely to write on it. Okay. Here's one thing, and people may fight me on this, and that's okay, but paint neutral colors. Like you may love your hot pink bonus room. You may love a bright purple dining room, and that may be your taste, and that is perfectly all right. But ultimately, at the end of the day, that is a buyer is going to be like, oh gosh, like that color is jarring. Versus saying like, oh, I can see myself in that space. So paint, like my stager, Kim Pierce says, paint is money in a can. You are going to be doing yourself a huge, huge favor just by getting rid of any sort of bright, crazy colors. That neutral color is going to ultimately end up in more money going in your pocket from the sale of your home. Go ahead and hide garbage cans. Nobody needs to see them. They're not pretty. They don't catch the eye. They don't give you the warm and fuzzy feeling. So go ahead, hide your trash cans out of sight. People just don't need to look at them. And then make sure you also clear out your driveway. We don't need to see what kind of car you drive, not only for your personal safety, but, you don't need people making assumptions about you. Unfortunately, sometimes if a buyer might see a luxury vehicle in the driveway in the listing photos, they may be like, oh, well, they don't need this kind of money, so let's undercut them. And you don't ultimately want to do that. You want to put yourself in the best position to make the most amount of money on the sale of your home as you possibly can. And a big thing, speaking of driveway, you're going to want to think about the curb appeal. Pull up any dead plants. Anything that's dead has got to go. People do not want to see that. You want somebody, as they're walking up to your home, to have a really good feeling about it. Talk about the curb appeal. Be excited to step in the front door. Not like, oh, okay, so there's a bunch of stuff I have to clear out, and here's some yard gnome and all of that. You ultimately are going to want to pull up anything dead. You're going to want to pull the weeds. You're going to want to get rid of the yard gnomes. If there's any empty flower pots, fill them. Just don't go with any dark reds or dark purples. Those are two colors to stay away from. Again, it's a subconscious thing. But if you're going, if you need to refill a flower pot, think neutral colors, think the whites, the light yellows, all of that. And then you can, any electronics like a laptop or whatnot, go ahead and hide it away. Now, some people may say don't turn off, or they may say turn off the TVs, but I will say there's kind of a caveat to that. So when you're selling, if you have a great big old TV or projector screen in the bonus room, it's fall right now. And so people are thinking football. Like that is just, fall and football go together hand in hand. I'm a big sports girl. I'm an SEC girl. Football is life. And so what you may do in that circumstance is if there is a game on, if it's a Saturday when the list, this is for listing photos, but still, you could potentially have something on there that may allow or may, speak to the kind of lifestyle that people can have. Now, most TVs, go ahead, turn them off. You don't want them. But again, all of these things are things to think about for your listing photos. Now, not only are photos important, but so is going to be a Matterport. Now, I know I've talked about the Matterport before, but it literally allows buyers to get a 360-degree view of your home. They can walk it as if they were actually there, all from the comfort of their home. And a Matterport is becoming critically important during this time because, again, our market is moving so fast that some people don't have the luxury of saying, well, I like this house. Let me fly out there this weekend and then I'll see if I want to write an offer. A lot of times people are writing offers without ever having actually stepped foot in the home. And here's the thing about a Matterport camera. It pays attention to every single tiny little detail, and it will allow buyers to zoom in to different parts of your home. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't have the cords hanging out, that you don't have the family photos hanging out, that you don't have any sort of personal information out, because ultimately you want the home to show to the best of its ability. It needs to in both the listing photos and in the Matterport, which can typically be done all within the same scheduled time frame. And then one last thing is make sure the garage doors are closed. You don't want to be like the McAllisters in Home Alone, where they leave the garage doors open and then that's what they're worried about, right? So these are basically, kind of a general overview, a checklist of things to think about, because again, not only do these rules apply to the photos, but these are also going to apply to showing your home as well, because these are going to help set you up best for success. Yes, it may seem like a pain to have to go through this. It may seem nitpicky and meticulous, but at the end of the day, it's all about setting you up for success in the sale of your home and making sure it shows to the best of its ability, because again, most people are doing all of their home shopping right now online just because of how fast our market is moving. Like, I kid you not, I'll give you an example. So last weekend, a home hit the market on a Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And by noon, 4 hours later, by noon, the agent was calling for highest and best offer, and it was under contract by 3 p.m. that afternoon. That is how quick things are moving. Now, Do they always tighten up those timeframes that fast? Not always. Sometimes an agent will let the home sit on the market for a couple of days to allow people the opportunity to try to get in, to get highest and best offers from people. But I kid you not, there was that exact situation last weekend. So again, we are just moving fast. So people are having to rely on those listing photos and the Matterport in making home buying decisions if they're moving here from out of state, which we are seeing a ton of happening right now. So that is how to prepare your home for listing photos. If you ever have any questions, or if you would actually like my checklist guide for getting your home ready for listing photos, be sure to just shoot me a message, send me an email, send me a DM, and I will be happy to get that over to you. Or if you ever have any real estate questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope that everyone has a fabulous week, and I will see you next time.